no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross.
Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away? Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away?
What's going on? Mr. Stell?
Yeah, Mr. Will.
It's time for truth. It's time for truth. I know you guys aren't going to like it. Folks in the comments, make sure you're smashing that like button and the subscribe button. We're just going to be doing a quick show today, talking about the aftermath. First question I've got for you, Stell. Stell, I expect rivals, all the people out there on the interwebs and the YouTubes who are looking for us to fail. I understand them being absolutely biased and off the mark on their impression of what happened yesterday, trying to play and banter the 4-1 as if we got somehow routed at our own ground by Chelsea. But the thing that disappoints me the most is that our own fan base is doing it as well. What are your thoughts on that aspect of it before we get into the technical and tactical details of why they're full of shit?
Listen, you painted a nice picture. Look, for me, Will, everyone's allowed their opinion. Everyone can have their view. Everyone's going to find a way to justify their view. For me, I just, fans at Spurs criticise Pochettino because he made the wrong substitutions or picked the wrong players for key games and lost us key games. Fans blamed Jose for sitting back, being pragmatic, defensive, sitting on a 1-0 lead. Fans blamed Conte because of similar things. They blamed Mourinho. We've lost one game, 2 games under Ange, Carabao Cup and yesterday. And in both games, fans have blamed Ange. So we've got this culture at Spurs where whenever things don't go to plan, everything is the manager's fault or the manager is to blame. Now, our fan base, I feel, needs to wake up to the reality once and for all. Every time you blame a manager, not only are you feeding into the hands of Daniel Levy, you're feeding into the hands of our rivals. It can't always be the manager's fault. We've been through 17 managers. Did Pochettino have a squad, a good enough squad? Not a starting 11, a good enough squad. No, he never. Not to compete on 4 different fronts, which we were trying to do. Did Jose have a good enough squad? No. Did Conte have a good enough squad? No. Does Ange right now have a good enough squad? No. It's the same thing that comes to bite us. I'm not blaming just the squad for last night, but I'm hearing 2 big criticisms from last night. Romero and the tactics. For me, I agree with one. I don't agree with the other. I agree with the sendings off. And again, if people want to disagree with that, that's fine. But the tactics, I do not accept those tactics were suicide. I don't. So I just feel that we are feeding right into the hands of the owners and into our rivals by doing this again. We're doing it again. And it's one loss in the Premier League, and this is how we are. We're blaming Ange. I don't buy it. I don't.
I mean, for me, it's we've been doing it all season, really. If you look at some of the things, like even with the whole title charge, the title run, and all of those things, right? It was our own fan base that was giving ammunition and fueling fire to. And look, and people are allowed to say what they believe, and I don't ever have a problem with people voicing opinions, but I do have a problem with people saying that opinions are facts, and that's why I always ask the questions why. Like, I was on Judge Mo's show last night. It was a good show, and I encourage everybody to go watch it. But there were several times when people made statements, and I would ask why or how, right? And none of them ever even had actual evidence to back up the opinions that they have. And so I don't have a problem with people believing whatever they want, or you can believe whatever you want. You can believe that the moon is made of cheese. Like, that's one of my famous sayings, right? It's a difference, though, when you're saying that is true, and when you're saying that something is the case. Like, I've heard the rash comments about Romero today. Whether it's a sending off or not, I don't believe personally that it is, right, based on the evidence. But it definitely wasn't a rash tackle, right? If anything, it was unlucky that Enzo runs into the area as he's trying to clear the ball, right? The ball was a good yard and a half, 2 yards from Enzo, but when Romero goes to take that clearance, right? And Enzo continues his run into the challenge, and Romero's toe clips the top of his shin pad, which turns his foot sideways. It's momentum. It's simple physics, the laws of physics, and it makes it look in a still shot way worse than it actually was. And I've put it up on my Twitter, and we can even put it up here later if we really want to get into that aspect of it. I don't think it needs to be. People can go look at at my Twitter in the first place, and you can clearly see Enzo running into Romero's extended leg, right? And he checks his run at the last minute, and in the follow through, Romero's foot hits his shin pad. I don't think there was any intention from Romero there at all. And what is Romero supposed to do? Not make a clearance? He had plenty of space when he goes to take that kick. Plenty.
See, I disagree with you on this one, Will. I think Romero should have been sent off before that when he kicked out.
Sure, but we're not talking about that particular challenge. We're talking about this challenge.
No,
Right?
you're right. You're right. He got away with one. But you're right. This particular challenge, I've watched it back a few times, and what I think's happened, and I'm talking as someone who played as a defender for a year or two. I played defender and wide wing. I think what he did was, I think he went in for the challenge. He went in aggressively, but I think he also tried to leave a little bit on the player. But what he's done is he's left too much. And I think it's not rash. I think it's an over aggressive way that he plays. He's a very aggressive player. And if we take that out of Romero, he's not going to be the player that he is. He's not. He's a very, very aggressive player. But he needs to, he keeps going over that line of aggression where it's too much. And I think he just left too much on the player. And when they've looked back at
Romero,
it, I think they've said red card. That's
yes,
what
I mean, that's fine. I disagree with you on that. I don't think that any defender, regardless of how aggressive they are, wants to leave something on a player inside his own box when he's trying to clear the ball to keep them from scoring. Like you're not trying to give them a penalty when you're doing it. And it wasn't a last ditch effort slide tackle or anything like that, right? He literally comes across. After Van der Ven, by the way, takes a swing at it and miss. The ball is rolling towards Romero. He steps up, plants his foot next to the ball, kicks it. And if you watch it from the front angle, it looks like that. It looks like, if you're watching it from the front angle, when he goes and he clears the ball, it looks like all of a sudden his leg kind of turns and goes into Enzo. It looks like he's leaving a bit on him. But if you actually watch it from the side, the angle that I've put on Twitter, you can see that when he comes through his leg without moving at all, completely going straight, the tip of his boot catches the shin pad of Enzo. And as soon as the tip of his boot comes in, his whole foot turns in the direction, which is the way momentum would carry you. And he ends up hitting the side half calf / shin of Enzo. And that's what made his leg move that way. If he doesn't catch the toe on his shin pad, he goes clear past him and it never even gets called back. The referee on the pitch at the time, who was standing no more than 5 yards away, by the way, didn't call the foul at all. Play continues on for multiple touches. Then a goal is scored. They go back and check 3 different instances. And remember that Romero's was the last one they checked. They checked Van der Ven. They checked the offside. Then they went to Romero. Then they show the referee a few freeze frames of it, and he ends up giving a penalty. Which is what happens when you send the guy to the monitor. He's going to look at it in a slow motion thing from the angles that they give him.
The problem is, Will, when we played Liverpool, they had a player who made the tackle, got contact with the ball, but their foot rolled over the ball and hit Basuma, I think, and they got a red card.
Yeah, but it's different. It's two different scenarios, and I'll tell you why they're different real quick between the Curtis Jones one and the Romero one. The ball is rolling towards Basuma in this instance. Basuma is standing still, right? The ball hits Romero or Basuma's foot, and Curtis Jones lunges in to make a challenge, goes over the ball, and hits Basuma square on the arm. Romero is not going in for a challenge or a tackle on Enzo because Enzo doesn't have the ball. The ball is a good yard and a half away from Enzo. Romero comes up, plants his ball, kicks it, clears it, and it's just the momentum of his foot that takes him into Enzo, who's running at Romero, by the way. It's not the other way around. Romero doesn't run at Enzo with the ball. Enzo runs at Romero clearing the ball.
But Enzo stopped.
Enzo stopped after Romero cleared the ball. Not before.
Yeah, he stopped. The thing is, though, when you catch a player above the ankle, it's dangerous play. Like, does Romero's foot need to be that high? But does his foot
to clear the ball? He doesn't raise it higher than necessary.
Clearance is when you go in and you kick it out, right? He's gone in. He's
no. He went in and kicked it out. He didn't go in. We can pull it up. We'll pull it up on my Twitter.
But when you kick a ball, your foot doesn't go sideways forward afterwards. There's a follow through. His follow through was sideways with the stud show.
No, but like I said,
I think he tried to do both. Will I think he tried to do both, clear it and leave a bit on him. I just think that's what Romero did.
Right, but what I'm saying is when he comes in to watch and you watch the ball, he comes in with his foot angled like this, right? He hits the ball with his instep and his laces, where you normally clear the ball. The ball is kind of bouncing, not high, but maybe 2 or 3 inches rolling on the ground, right? Because it was a loose ball in the box. He comes up, he clears that ball, and then on the follow through, his toe catches the shin pad of Enzo, right? The toe, not the cleat, now. But the toe. And then his foot turns sideways and comes in on his leg.
Yeah, but it's hit him mid-shin.
Yeah, he caught on his follow-through on the clearance. The tip of his boot catches his shin pad, right? Then when the tip of his boot catches the shin pad, it turns his whole foot sideways, and he ends up hitting the rest of his leg, the side of his leg, calf, and shin with the inside of his foot.
But landing a foot there, that is dangerous play, though, isn't it?
No, it's only dangerous play if you're going in for a tackle or a challenge. Romero wasn't going in for a tackle or a challenge. He was clearing the ball, and Enzo ran it. Think about it this way: reverse it around. Romero's the attacker. He's going to shoot a ball.
Will, if 1 minute, hold on. If you're clearing the ball, right, you're trying to kick it out. He's kicked the ball right onto Enzo, so he's not clearing it. He's kicked it right onto him, which means you're going to follow through, and that's where he's caught him.
Yeah, but Enzo's running at Romero, right, to block the clearance. Romero is clearing the ball. Enzo runs up, and as soon as Romero clips the ball,
I see what
Enzo
you're saying.
puts on the brakes.
I see what you're saying. I think for me, look, you've got a case. The more I watch it, you do have a case. I think the problem though is because of where he's caught him, it's dangerous.
No, I understand why the ref gives a red card if he thinks that it's dangerous. It's down to his discretion. But what I'm saying is this is not a rash move by Romero. It's just it's the same thing as the handball against Arsenal.
Yeah. No, I agree on the wording. For me, it's what I said at the start. I don't think it's rash. This word rash is, I think it's over aggressive. He doesn't need that much of aggression in clearing the ball. Probably not. I think it's the aggression that has made it.
Well, I mean, it's hyped up. The ball was bouncing around the box, right? Like Vanderman whiffs on one. Of course he's going to go in full speed, right? Because he needs to get there before anybody else does. So I understand that part. And yes, you could say that in that instance or whatever, a referee could think based on the views that he was shown from VAR. I think if a referee looked at it in longer context, right? You have to understand that these VR clips are like, 3 seconds long, right? They're not long at all. He doesn't see Enzo running into the play. He doesn't see how far the ball is away from Enzo before Romero goes in for the clearance, right? And so from that short clip, especially from the front side view, and you see all of a sudden it looks like he kicks his leg out at the end on the follow through. But when you go to the side view, you see why his foot turned that way. It wasn't because he was trying to get anything on him. It was because the tip of his boot clipped his shin pad, which the momentum, if I'm moving this way and there's an obstacle there and it hits it, my momentum is going to carry me through, which then hit the rest of his leg.
I don't think Romero is rash, right? This is basically what happens in football. The media will come up with a word and then it gets circulated on socials and everyone just grabs hold of it. Right, let's just use that word. Let's just label Romero's rash. For me, it wasn't a rash moment by Romero. It was an over-aggressive play, and that over-aggressive play led to a dangerous, call it a collision, call it impact, whatever word you want. Either way, for me, it's a red card. I think the right decision was made in the end. That's my view. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that even gets called as a foul in Italy. I don't think it gets called as a foul in CONCACAF. I don't even think they even blow it.
But if we're going to be honest, Will, right? I know they're two separate incidents, but it's a bit of karma here as well. Romero got away with that kick earlier on. That is a red. So the fact he never got
it's violent conduct.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. But it was kind of a
one
bit of
wrong
karma.
doesn't make another wrong either, right? So,
correct.
But what I'm saying, even on the kick out very well. You're right. By the letter of law, the kick out is because he wasn't challenging for the ball and he went to strike, kick at or lunge at an opponent, right? The referee, if he feels that endangers the player, because that's the part of the game, right? If he felt that little kick out onto the calf was an actual violent act that it endangered the safety of another player, then he could have been sent off for that call 100%. I agree with you 10,000%. The Udogie one, the second yellow card, was absolutely a yellow card. That tackle didn't need to happen in the first place. I'm not being biased on this because I have some kind of agenda to prove to say the Spurs did nothing wrong in this match at all. I'm not saying that at all. This two-footed. The thing that does bother me, though, is that when football fans go off of culture and memes to say that there are positions on particular fouls, because the letter of the law doesn't mention anything about studs, doesn't mention anything about two-footed tackles, it doesn't mention anything about any of these things. All of those things aren't in the laws, okay? So just because it has happened at certain times, it doesn't matter that that's what should or should not happen now, right? For example, what is in the law, though, is on the Reece James incident when he comes up and he strikes Udogie, who's standing firmly on the ground, in the head with an elbow, right? Forearm / elbow. That is immediately violent conduct and should be.
Yeah, so the thing is with Reece James, the law is right. Just so everyone knows, whoever's watching the show, thanks for watching. Smash a like, subscribe, all that stuff. I believe Udogie was a red, and I believe Romero was a red. Right? I think both should have got sent off, and the right decisions were made overall. However, with Reece James, because we haven't spoken about this, the rule is if the elbow strikes the face, and it did. So that was
hand,
a red
elbow, or
card.
arm. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was just elbow, but that makes it worse.
It's hand, elbow, arm. If a player strikes another opponent in the face, it's an immediate sending off.
Reece James should have been sent off in that game as well. There's no doubt in my mind. They should have had a red card as well. But I'm going to caveat that by saying, look, VAR this season has been dog shit. The referees have been dog shit. So far, Spurs have probably been on the better side of VAR than not. And I think this game kind of balanced it out a bit, that we were on the wrong end of some VAR decisions today. I think Son's goal was onside, by the way, the 2-0. I thought that was onside. But I'm not going to come on and use VAR or referees as an excuse as to why Spurs lost, because Ange said something that I really liked in the interview. And it's something I tell my players as well. Do not let the referees decide the game. We need to do more in the game so that the referees' decisions don't tip the balance. And I think that it's a bit like Arteta on the weekend. He completely pussied out of his responsibilities as a manager, where he said, it's a disgrace, this is terrible. Did you, Arteta, have your team play in a way to create enough chances to win the game and not have to worry about any VAR decisions? No, you didn't. Take ownership that the game was lost not because of VAR. Don't go down that road. At least Ange has accepted, I'm not going to blame VAR because I don't like it. I don't think we should have it in the game anyway. But I'm not going to pile on pressure on referees. I don't think we should do that. I'm not going to use VAR as an excuse as to why Spurs lost. And quite frankly, I think over the course
I'm not
of the
using
season,
an excuse either.
The game, I think it will balance itself out anyway. It is what it is. I think we lost this game for one reason and one reason only. We lost our freaking discipline in the heat of the game. Romero and Udogie, if they don't get sent off, we are beating Chelsea. There was no doubt in my mind. I said it before the game would beat them. And even after the first 20 minutes, we were tearing Chelsea apart. As soon as it became a dogfight and big tackles were coming in and the referees were allowed to get involved, we lost it. We lost the game. Discipline cost us the whole game. The same reason Arsenal lost to Newcastle. As soon as Kai Havertz put that stupid tackle in, he rallied the Newcastle base and it became a dogfight. We're a bit like Spurs. We're a bit like Arsenal in the sense that we can't win games if it's a dogfight. We've got to win playing football. And I think we shot ourselves there, Will. I think we shot ourselves. I don't know what you think, but
no,
that's
100%.
kind of how I
shot ourselves there. Look, I think that there's, you had all of those calls in the first half, right, against Chelsea, multiple hard tackles that weren't getting a look from the officials. And after multiple, you had the one on Maddison, you had the one on Son, you had the one on Romero where he kicked out in the first place, right? And then, so all of those things leads to frustration, right? So the fact that the referee wasn't being double-sided, but anything that we did, he gave right away. Like the people that are trying to say that Udogie's first one was a straight red because he went in with a double-footed tackle, and that's a straight red all the time. It's just stupid, right? The ball was away from Sterling. He slides at the ball. Sterling, again, is running to get the ball, and there's a collision. Doji was already on the ground before Sterling was even within a yard of the ball. First of all, like seriously, the amount of revisionism that goes on in agendas for rival fans and even our own fans is it's laughable. Literally just denying what actually happened is silly for me. But going forward from that, though, when we do end up going down to 9 men, what are your thoughts on the tactics, right? When we went down to 10 men and we're still playing a high line, a lot of people say that with 10 men, it was still stupid. It was still naive. It was still suicide. But haven't we seen Liverpool play with a high line with 10 men 3 times so far this season? And they've actually scored goals and even won a game using that same tactic. And why do you think that it was naive at 10 men, not 9, but at 10 men to play a high line?
Right. I totally disagree with this. The high line was silly tactics. I don't care what any wannabe gurus on YouTube, Twitter, social media have to say. 99% of them don't have the qualification, the skill set, the certificates, none of it to talk about tactics. And I will debate anyone and everyone on the tactical subject at any point. I'm happy to do it. This is what happened. After the game, I was very angry because I thought these tactics, I was very emotional. I was gutted. I woke up this morning. I felt fresh. I thought, okay. And I thought, I'm going to watch the game back. I know what's going to happen. I just want to watch it now and understand why it happened. And I probably replayed certain things 3 or 4 times. And I sat there and I actually made my notes. And then.
And how valuable is it to rewatch the game, by the way? Like, people always laugh at me because I watched it twice.
Yeah.
But how valuable is that? You take when you're not in the emotion and you're watching it to actually look at the game. It's a very valuable tool.
Look, in football, there's something called plan, do, and review. Plan what you're going to do it, and then afterwards review what happened and make notes on what was good. How do we repeat that? What was bad? How do we fix it? So I kind of did that in a nutshell. Plan, do, review. And I didn't do the plan or the do. I just did the review bit because I'm not the manager of Spurs. And for me, it's clear what Ange wanted to do. What is the alternative to a high line? To drop deeper, right? Mourinho and Conte had Spurs drop deep for 4 years, and the entire fan base went into a meltdown. Our rival fans cussed us for not blaming the managers for the way we played. And we couldn't defend with 11 players on the pitch deep. We couldn't defend. People, Spurs could not defend with 11 players on the pitch deep with our best defenders on the pitch. We are now 9 men on the pitch with our entire back line wiped out. Please tell me how we improve on the 11 with the best players that can't do it, how we get better doing it with 9 on the pitch and the 2 best centre-backs out. That's the first thing. Secondly, when Romero got sent off against AC Milan, the entire fan base, Conte out, fossil football, I don't want him at the club, because he subbed an attacking player to bring on a defender when Romero got sent off and made us sit back. The whole fan base went into a meltdown off that. So now what the fans want is for Postecoglou to do all the things they booed Conte for and criticise him for not doing all the things they booed Conte for. That doesn't wash. It simply doesn't work. You can't have your whole cake and to eat it. Fans wanted the Spurs way. What is the Spurs way? It's to go for it. To dare is to do. Did we not do it? Did we not do to dare is to do? Did we not say, right, it's all gone wrong. It's all against us. Let's go for it. Did we not do that? Number 3.
100% we did it.
We created 4 good chances. We created the chance Son had, and I was sitting right behind it. The guy ran out of steam. As he went to kick it, he was just energyless. So it was a tame shot. Bentancur had a shot in the box. It wasn't a good shot. Went straight to the keeper. But both of these chances were scoring opportunities. Dyer scored, but it was deemed offside. Only just. Okay. And then right at the end, Bentancur should have used his foot, but he tried to header it and he missed a goal from like 3 yards out. We created 4 big chances playing the high line. We are not creating anything if we go deep because we can't counter it. Why can't we counter attack? Where's the pace? We took off Brennan Johnson. Where's the creativity? Madison came off injured. So the only outlet is Kulu. Guess what? No pace. So you want Kulu to carry the ball all the way up the field with 9 men. And do what? So the only option left, if we play low, is to play a long ball to Son. When has Son ever been good receiving a ball long in football? Play the ball to Son from a diagonal or a through ball between the lines, he finishes. So when I look at it from every angle and every alternative, well, there was two choices. Sit back with 9 men against with a really bad defensive unit that we had on the pitch and wait for the inevitable for them to score, or take the risk. They probably will get chances, but let's see if we can score. And there's 3 things I want to debunk with this whole thing, Will. Number one, people that say, oh, but Liverpool did it. They sat back with 9 men when they played us. They had Van Dijk and Matip at centre-back, not Dyer and Højbjerg. Number
they had
2.
3 centre-back and Konate on the pitch. They had 3.
Right. And they're actually centre-backs, these players.
And then they brought in 3 defensive mids.
We didn't have...
And not only that, too, but they still ended up losing the game. And this is what I don't get. Losing 2-1 in the 90th minute or losing 4-1 in the 97th minute, what's the difference on the table? Nothing. Nothing is the difference, right?
2-1,
except for maybe goal differential, right? But this is what I'm saying, and this is what I don't think people realize. Okay,
but Will,
and I know people don't. I don't. It's just real quick, because this supports what you're saying, right? So when you look at in the first half, and you look at the number of XG that we had in the first half, it's 0.17 XG in the first half. In the second half, with 9 men, we had 4 shots, 2 shots on target, and 0.73 XG. We had almost 7 times the amount of expected goals with 9 men playing this high line than we did with 11 men. Yeah. And this is what I understand. Ange wanted to win the game. It was all the way up until the 93rd minute, and that 3rd goal goes in, right? Because of all the added extra BS time from all of the 95 hours that it took for VR to make calls, right? If that game ends in a 3 or 5 minute added time scenario, we don't lose that game 4-1, even with this. And if any one of those 4 chances hits the back of the net, people are going to be talking about how genius Postecoglou was. And there's fine lines in football. And on another day, that's genius. And today, I still think it's genius, because there's a lot of quotes out there, right? There's a fine line between genius and madness, insanity, right? There's a fine line.
Forget sitting back with 10 men with Chicken Royale, Moon Boots Dyer, and Højbjerg as your back line. Forget it. The inevitable is going to happen, right? Like I said, there's 3 things I want to debunk. The first one is fans saying, oh, but Liverpool did it. No, Liverpool had a completely different quality in the back line when they went 9 men against us. People say, oh, but Chelsea are weak against teams that play a low block. That's what you should have done. Chelsea haven't played a 9-man team doing a low block. All the low blocks they've, like Brentford, that beat them 2-0. Brentford had 11 men on the pitch, not 9. And the last thing I want to debunk is something that Ange Postecoglou said after the match, where he spoke about, even if we got 5 players on the pitch, mate, we're still going to play. It's my philosophy, right? Sorry if my accent's rubbish. I'm trying to do Australian, right? Ange doesn't mean that, right? He's just trying to shut everyone up. Get off my back. I'm the manager. That's what I decided to do. That's what he's trying to say. Because when we went down to 10 men against Luton, people, did we play a high line? No. We went 1-0 up and we sat deep. We had a bit of attacking play, but we sat deep. So Ange can tell you that we're going to do that all the time. That's not what we did when we went 10 men down against Luton. It depends on... And do you know why against Luton it worked? Because Romero and Van der Ven were on the pitch. And how many tackles, headers, blocks did they put in that game? Loads. So let's have it right, people. When you're down a man, you're up against it. When you're down to 9 men, it's inevitable you're going to lose. He decided to say, right, I'm just going to go for it, because you know what? No one's going to think that we're going to do that. I actually think we rattled Chelsea for 20 minutes. I actually think Chelsea were thinking, what are this lot
going
doing?
On? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. And look, at the end of the day, how many Spurs fans and how many rival fans laughed at Chicken Royale, laughed at Dyer, laughed at Højbjerg, saying, get them out of the club, they shouldn't be here, ha, ha, ha. All our rivals, all of our rivals, all of you, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, all of you said you're just one injury away back from Eric Dyer. Ha 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 ha. Now you want us to go low block with the guy you're laughing at, Eric Dyer. Come on, man, get out of here.
Well, not only that too, but and I know that
we
you
did the
shared
right
this
thing.
video
Hans did
around,
the right thing.
and I've watched
Hans
this
did
as
the
well. And for people that haven't watched it in the audience, I really suggest you guys go watch the Tifo video that they put out today about it. And also too is the
Scullets, we can't counter, mate.
Yeah.
Chelsea
And,
low block with 9
here,
men.
I'm gonna tell you,
not
and I'm gonna tell you why.
Sorry.
If you go watch and this is what I think the difference between Jeremy Carragher last night too even said that he thought it was brilliant, that it was genius, right? Even though that it didn't work out, the way that we were attacking, the way that we were putting pressure on Chelsea was actually genius. And here's the reason why. If you win the scenario where you have Maddison already off the pitch, you have Adoji gone, you have Romero gone, and now you've got basically just Son and Kulu. They're the only ones there, and Kulu needs to be tucked inside midfield, pressing the midfield. For us to go on the counter, who's going to make that pass into Son in the counter from that low block, right? Who's going to be making that?
How are we going to travel 100 yards
exactly?
Up the pitch? How?
So
with 9 men,
So you take a risk reward scenario, and you either shorten the pitch for the counter, or you lengthen the pitch for a counter. And if you don't think you're going to be able to prevent them from scoring in a low block, then what's the best option to do? Outscore them in a high block. And that's exactly what Postecoglou chose, because it's not only the first time that we haven't pressed that high, but even against Fulham, if you remember, Crystal Palace as well. Once we went a goal up, what did we do? We passed the ball around the back a bunch of times. We were patient. We took our time playing the ball back, right? Do we play at the halfway line? We don't even play at the halfway line with 11 men. We don't. So the point at which you're trying to say this, Chelsea don't score against people in a low block. Maybe with 11 men, but you don't know what would have happened with 9. Why are we going to allow Enzo and all of these guys to get into the game and take shots from outside the box? Why would we do that? Why would we let you guys fire balls into our box and try to head them out when that's not our game, especially with Eric Dyer and Emerson Royale and Højbjerg in the defensive line? I just don't understand why people are complaining about it. First off is this. A lot of our fans still said we're not in a title race. We're not going to go undefeated. Fourth, fifth is the best that we can hope for this season. And I'm talking about a week ago. I'm not talking about the beginning of the season. I'm talking about a week ago. Why are you upset? Why are you upset? Because he continued to play attacking football and didn't go for the point, a point that doesn't matter unless we're going to think we're going to win the league. Right? People say, well, what if you're 1 point behind and you end up losing the league by a point? Well, then that point matters. Are we in a title race now? Are we in a title race now that point's going to matter in game week 38? And you're just going to get into the top 4. No, we will finish third this season. And I think we'll beat Wolves. I don't think this is going to be Van der Ven being out is going to hurt us against teams like Aston Villa, Newcastle, and City. We're probably going to drop more points than we are there, but we could lose next week to Wolves, and both of the 2 teams that are below us could win, and we'll only be a point behind them. They're 2 points behind us now.
Look, I think, Will, if you're Ange Postecoglou right now, what you've got to do is say, okay, we've played 11 games. How many games have I got before January comes? And you've got to go to the board and sit down and say, look, I've done a great job. The fans are happy. You're happy. I'm happy. I need backing, right? We've got a mini crisis. I need backing. Let me tell you what we need. Start doing it now. You've built the team. Langer's come in. Munn's come in. This guy's come in. This director's here. Start working on the transfers now. So at the first week of January, bang, 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 they all come in, right? Just get it done. In the meantime, you leave it to me, the manager, to navigate the next 7 games and keep us in this top 4, 5 area. Just let me keep us within touching distance. And it's over to Ange to find a way now over the next 7 games and some difficult games. Look, it's not the end of the world. Son's fit. Brennan Johnson's fit. Kulu's fit.
Maddison.
Bissouma. Madison, we're going to find out. I think he was taken off more because it was a niggle. Pape Sarr's fit. Benson calls back. We still got both our wing backs, Porro and Udogie. So it's just the centre-back area that we're weak. The goalie's there, right? Which is massive because he's what a signing he is. Anyone that says Ray is better, go kiss my ass.
Yeah.
He's freaking levels above Ray.
Yeah, we criticized him a little bit, which I think was rightly deserved in the preseason because he did look shaky. But he's been. I would take him now. I said Raya was a better keeper in the summertime, and that's only because I'd never seen Vicario play, and I'd never seen Vicario play in an Ange Postecoglou system, and that guy was awesome. And this is another thing that the people have been saying today, that it could have been 8-1. I don't agree with you that it could have been 8-1 because you only had 8 shots in the entire game. So you're telling me that you should have scored every single shot on target that you had. It's not true. They're taking these chances that Vicario cleared, which was part of the tactic, him being a sweeper keeper and coming up and picking those balls up. That's why he was playing outside of his own box.
Yeah, but
on purpose.
by that logic, if they're going to say it should have been 8-1, they're counting.
It should have been 8-5.
Chelsea missed. Yeah, then give us the chances we missed as well, right?
Exactly. 8-5.
It can't just be, but Chelsea could have scored them. Well, so could have we. Look.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And just to find a way to navigate. I mean, Will, look, what would you do now defensively? Because Dyer's probably going to start every game. There's no choice. Well, there is a choice. But what do? Do you bring in Ashley Phillips? Do you bring back Tanganga from loan? Do you bring in Donington? Do you play Ben Davies as centre-back in the back two, which I think isn't right? I mean, what would you do?
I mean, we could ask them if Tanganga could come back on loan from loan, because I don't think he's playing a whole lot over there. He may want to, especially as how good we're playing now. I think that would be a great option if they're willing to let him have his contract. Now, remember, they don't have to, right? They've got him for the 6 months or a year or whatever it is. That would be an option if they'll let him out of his loan agreement. That should be fine. We'll probably have to pay back any money that we got for him, but that's okay. And then you definitely play Ashley Phillips. He was pulled out of the U21 squad tonight to go train with the first team. I think he's got to be, for me, it's time to give him a chance, man. You got to put him in a Chelsea type of situation and just let an 18 or a 19-year-old give it a go. I mean, he's 19 now. He's a big guy. He's physical. He's strong. Apparently, he's supposed to be a good defender. So why not give him a go? I don't understand why we wouldn't use Ashley Phillips in this scenario. For me, my preferred center back pairing would be Davies and Phillips. I wouldn't even use Eric Dyer. That's who I would play. Royal on the left.
Davies got the height though for the position. Has he got the height?
He's got the speed though.
Ben Davies
he's
got
a lot
speed.
Faster than Dyer is.
Yeah, Davies is slow as well. He got roasted against Crystal Palace.
He's slow, but in a straight line, he's faster than Eric Dyer, is what I'm saying, right?
I think Dyer's better in the air. Yeah,
but you're going to play both of them on the weak foot because isn't Phillips a right-footed player as well?
I don't think we've got much of a choice. I mean, by the way, just a harmless potato. You say it's not only shots, Will. They had lots of space. You said yourself, Vicario had to make 6 clearances outside the box. That's potentially 6 high-value chances.
If he clears, then there's no chance.
Harmless potato, just to let you know, right? As soon as we played that high line, right, and I'm talking to you as a coach now, I guarantee you, Ange would have said to Vicario, you are now going to play on the edge of your box as a sweeper keeper. If they do get in behind, engage. And the amount of times Vicario did that wasn't luck. That was a deliberate tactic of playing the high line, using the goalie almost as a last defender.
Center back, yeah.
I would have done the exact same thing if that was my team. I would have said you're playing as a centre back. And so when you say that Vicario had to make 6 clearances, that was part of the plan.
It's only a high value chance if the striker shoots the ball. Right? All of these, but they play balls in over the top. Yeah, of course. We were playing a high line. That's how they break it down. But we were eliminating them from having those chances by Vicario making those clearances. That's the whole point. Like this, it really bothers me a lot of times. And I think I mentioned it yesterday on the post-match or the live watch-along, that people act like we shouldn't have a goalkeeper. Like if our team's defense should be so good that we don't concede any shots, what do we need a goalkeeper for? Why does that position exist in the game?
We were conceding good chances against Luton Town, for crying out loud. So to think we're not going to concede chances against Chelsea, I think. Do you know what it is? I don't think people watch Chelsea. Chelsea create a lot of chances in games. They don't score. And the only reason they scored yesterday is because we're down to 9 men. I get if we sat low block, maybe it's harder for them to score. But inevitably, the likes of Dyer, Emerson, Højbjerg, it's going to go wrong. Any team, Liverpool, who are far better than us, the squad they had on the pitch when they went down to 9 men, it went wrong for them. It went wrong for Liverpool. So I don't know. People just clinging on to this whole low block. Chelsea don't like it. No, Chelsea don't like it when there's 11 men that are low blocking. They've never played against a team that's low block 9, and I don't want us to be the first either.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some silly takes that I think are reactionary. And what I'm surprised about is it's reactionary from people who said we weren't going to win the league or we weren't in a title change and that we're, best we could finish as 6th this season. Like and I'm not talking about the beginning. I'm talking about like weeks ago, right? Why are you upset that he decided to play attacking football and go for the win instead of trying to sit back and grind out a point? If we're not in a title challenge, what difference does a point make? If we're in a title challenge, what difference does a point make?
I think people just want the whole. They want the whole idea of, I'll come at the end of the season. If you miss out on top 4 by 1 point, we won't. It's not going to come down to that for us. And you can't say now what 1 point will do come into the season anyway. I'm confident. I'm confident if Spurs have the right personnel in January, going for the rest of the season, we are going to get top 4. The fact that we were even creating chances with 9 men, what does that tell you about the way we play? We're clearly onto something good. I don't think Liverpool created 1 chance when they went down to 9 men against us.
Not one.
But 1. We created 4. 4.
We had more XG in the second half, down to 9 men, than we did in the entire first half. Not by a little bit. 7 times as much. 7 times, 7x. Playing that high line than we did the entire first half. And they had 11 men on the pitch. That says more about how shit Chelsea is.
Yeah. They are.
It doesn't, but we've only got 15 minutes left on the show. One last topic I want to talk to you about, though, or ask you the question of is, okay, when it comes down to us going forward now, we've got Van der Ven. He's probably going to be out minimum of 6 weeks. It looks bad. We don't know how bad it is. Could be anywhere. If he needs surgery, probably up to 2.5, 3 months, right? That's going to hurt us. Hopefully Ashley Phillips can come in and he can play alongside Romero when he gets back from his suspension. Udoji is not a big problem. It's a 1-game suspension. He'll be back for the other game, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're only 1 man short in that back line. 2 men short for a couple of games, right? 2 to 3 games. In our next 3 fixtures, we have Wolves, Villa, and then City, right? So the City one, I was already expecting us to lose. The Villa one, I was going for a hope, but it is at our home, and you can see that even Villa can lose to Nottingham Forest away 2-0, right? So even us with Eric Dyer next to somebody back there is not going to be a huge loss compared to Villa at our ground, because we still have the front 3, we still have the midfield 3, and you've got all of those. I see Postecoglou just going to be like, all right, fellas, we're going to concede goals now. Now we just got to score way more than they do against us, right? That's going to be the tactic going forward. And isn't that what we want as Spurs fans? So my question is, how do you see this affecting us going forward? How many points do you see us getting in the next 3 to 4 games?
I think we will beat Wolves with no Neto, and they lost their last game. I think we can beat them. Villa, I'm worried about Villa. I'm worried about Villa more than any other game. I think Unai Emery is very clever, and I think he'll know how to set up. They'll look to play that ball between Dyer and Porro. That's the weakness now, isn't it? If they can find space around there or down that flank, I think we're in big trouble. I mean, if you're any manager now playing Spurs, you're just going to say tap them down the channels. And Aston Villa have got good wide players. I think we might lose to Villa, if I'm honest with you, Will. I think we might lose. I think we will lose to Man City now as well. To play Man City with their attacking, like the Dokus, the Grealishes, the Haalands, the Alvarez, the Silvers without Van de Ven and Romero worries the hell out of me. I think we'll lose that. And then after that, who have we got, Will?
So it's Villa City, and then West Ham is the fourth game.
Is West Ham home or away?
Home. West Ham's been getting popped lately. Their form has dipped significantly.
Yeah, I know. I think we're probably looking at 4 to 6 points. For anything between 4 and 6.
Yeah, I think so I think that we've got a possibility of getting, anywhere from 6 isn't possible, I guess, but 4 to 5 points. Possibly even maybe 7 points. I think you'll be surprised. And I think there's a psychological aspect to what Postecoglou did yesterday that I don't think people are recognizing either. And let me know what you think about it. I think that there's a case to be made that if you're Postecoglou and you're trying to sell this system to the players, to the team, to the squad, and you have some older players who haven't really been a part of it, they're not used to it, they know they don't really fit this system, and they maybe haven't necessarily bet in. When Postecoglou says, all right, buddy, it's your chance now, get up, and then they go out and put it in the performance like they did in that second half, all fire, all heart. I mean, you saw Højbjerg, right? When he needed that goal over the bar, they celebrated it like it was a goal. I celebrated it like it was a goal. There was heart, there was fear, there was passion. Do these players now, who we thought were done and dusted, washed, not come into the Wolves game saying, you know what? We could freaking beat them. Like the confidence that inspires, you don't think can add some things, that little bit of extra to get them to go the extra yard, the extra mile, the extra sprint to try to get a result going forward? I think it freaking does. I would be pumped up.
Will, I've never been to a Spurs game in my entire life, ever. I've been going for 30 years. I've never been to a game where we got battered and the team got clapped off the pitch. Like they got a standing ovation. That says to me the fans have bought in. That says to me the fans have bought in. If the fans have bought in, then Spurs have bought in as players. And I just want to read to you something that Hyun-Min Sung said today, our club captain, right? Your support last night was incredible. We fed so much off your energy and atmosphere in the stadium. We made mistakes as a team, put ourselves in a tricky position. But hey, we will learn from these mistakes. We will bounce back and we'll be stronger together. This is the key bit for me. That is why I agree with what you said. I wake up this morning proud of the boys, proud of you, the supporters, and excited to get straight back to work. I think you're spot on. I agree with you, Will.
I think it's huge, man. I think if the manager throws in the towel in the scenario, the players throw in the towel scenario, and you got to still remember that we still have the injuries, we still have the suspensions, even if we threw in the towel and sat back, right? But the fire that it lit in the bellies of our deadwood is not replaceable.
It's time to fight. It's time to fight.
Right. You cannot replace that going forward. I'm telling you, Postecoglou is not mad. He's genius.
Listen, I like what he did last night. I agree with it. I back it. I like the way he approached.
I said it yesterday. I got laughed at on other shows, on other channels. You can't be serious. Dead serious.
Yeah, but people are used to just being sheep and following whatever the popular thing is. If it's popular on channels to say something, they all go with it because they want to fit in. It takes balls. It takes balls to go against the grain because you've seen something that you think, hold on a minute, you're not really looking at this well, are you? I've got a different take on this and I'm going to back it.
Yeah, I know. I do it all the time. And people laugh at me and people moan, but I'll tell you what, I don't know too many other people who go on and just rattle on about the eye test that rival friend YouTubers are afraid to debate. rival fan YouTubers, Igal, Hissam, they're afraid to debate me. Why?
Because their analysis is basic. They have a very basic analysis.
Basic.
And also, they don't know Spurs the way we do. Like, I always find it difficult when people who are not Spurs want to tell us about Spurs, tell us about our tactics, our formations, our players, our managers, our club, our chairman. It's like we live, eat, breathe our club. We know it better. I would never tell a Liverpool fan more about Liverpool than them. I would tell them what I think, what I see. But I would never tell them, I know better than them. And I find that with people outside of Spurs, they seem to know better than us. They don't know shit. Spurs, we at Spurs know Spurs better than anybody else. Anybody else. And the same applies to fans of other clubs. If you're a Brighton fan, you know more about Brighton than I will ever know. You know more about your players, the little details that your manager applies on match day, the ins and outs of the club. That's just how it is.
That's right. I don't know. I don't know what this has to do with anything. I'm sorry, I missed the connection. Did Klopp fail against Luton? He didn't beat them, so I don't know what you would call it.
Hussam, I remember he said Spurs were lucky. Luton are the reason that Spurs got a win and it wasn't a fair result. Liverpool went to Luton and got a draw, and they had 11 men. Yeah, it's funny because these people like these.
If we got battered 4-1 at home with 11 men against Chelsea, then yes, I would say that Postecoglou did a failure, right? But that's not what happened.
When Liverpool lose, Hussam doesn't go on the football terrace. When Spurs lose, he's the first one. Let him speak first. You see,
look, and that's what I'm saying. What did we do, Stel? What did we do on this channel, Stel? What did we do on this channel? As soon as the post-match happened, we threw the link in the chat for anybody and their mother-in-law to come on. We didn't hide. Yeah. We didn't run, right? We didn't try to close off the fences to make it a Tottenham away only so we could do our echo chamber. No, we got on there. We argued with each other. We argue with rivals, right? We don't back down from debates here. Will Stewart will never run from a debate. I don't care who it is. Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, whoever it is, however many subscribers they've got, it could be Don Robbie himself with 1 million, and I'll still be the same Will that you all love and hate at the same time.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyway, guys, when are we back next? We'll be back next tomorrow with a show. We have our Mari's Spurs Lounge tomorrow. There'll be some more guests on. I'm sure we'll get some conflicting opinions on this. Look, we've got conflicting opinions on this in the Tottenham away team, right? Some of us think it was a res. Some of us don't. Some of us think that Postecoglou did the right thing. Some of us don't, right? That's the great thing. You never get an echo chamber here. So show up tomorrow at, what time is it? 8:30, 9 p.m. UK time? 9:30 UK time. And then right now, Stel is going over to the Hotspur Hood. We should probably try to redirect him as well.
Let's do redirect. Guys, we're going to do a quick redirect. Come over to the Hotspur Hood. Brian Daigle's going to be there. Who else is there? Tommy, Dan. There's a few of us. That's going to be quite a good show.
Yeah, that one's going to be starting here in about 2 minutes. I'm going to add the redirect onto the thing. So guys, stick around in here and it'll automatically redirect you. You can sit there, you can wait in the thing, you can hit the like, you can hit the notification bell, let them know what's going on. But still, what else you got going on? We've got a show Thursday, Friday. Tell them a little bit about that.
What else we got going on? So Tommy's tonight. Make sure you come over to the Hotspur Hood straight after this, literally. And then we've got Mari's show tomorrow night. Thursday on the Football Heritage TV, Savern Purchase channel. Myself, Will, and Haas. We're going to be.
That'll be a hot one.
That'll be a hot one. That's at 8 p.m. And then once that finishes at 9:30 on our channel, North London is ours, Spurs v Arsenal. And I'm telling you now, there's going to be a lot to happen because they've lost a couple of games in a row. So have we. That's going to go off. And then Friday, 9 p.m. UK time, we normally do a Monday podcast every week. That's our bread and butter show. It's the one we've been doing since day one. We had to postpone that because of the Chelsea match, but we're going to move it to Friday night, 9 p.m. So come and check that one out. And then on Saturday, it's the watch along, Wolverhampton versus Spurs. Yeah. If you hit the notification bell on the channel, everything will alert you whenever a show is about to
And I tried to connect the redirect, but for some reason Hotspur Hood has not allowed us to redirect him. He probably doesn't know about it. So I am going to throw the link in the chat here because they are live right now, it looks like. Looks like the show just started. But I will share the link here. Everybody can slip on over. Stell's jumping over there right now. Stell, you need to tell Tom he needs to set up the redirect so that we can send people. They don't have to click buttons and stuff. But folks,
I'll tell him.
Thank you very much for watching. We will be back tomorrow with Mari, and then all this week. You may check out the community page or my Twitter page too. I'm sure I'm going to get invites for my hot takes on this week's game and other places. Staffy, Mo, who knows where. But just keep a lookout. I'll try to post links to that whenever I'm going on a place. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We will see you guys next time. We are out of here. Peace.
Thank you, Wolves. Thank you, Wolves, everyone. Thank you for the super chat.
Big up, man. Big up, buddy.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.